not popular because web service also coming as what? WAR file. When EJB was there, AR files bit popular to present what? Web application and EJB component together as what? AR file. Or earlier, jar means EJB component, WAR means what? Web application. To combine them, we have a EAR file, which represent enterprise application. But nowadays, web service WAR file, web application WAR file. So there is no need of combining them into what? EAR file. Why? Because, come on, why? Because we are trying to run front-end application as a separate application, back-end application as a separate application. We are seeing application to application interaction, right, boss? So there is no need of EAR file. Right now, EAR files are not popular. Since I have exposure, I am introducing EAR. If you say I don't know EAR, I never heard about EAR, also no one says anything. From last 10 12 years, no one is worried about EAR files. Got it, guys? Okay. Yeah. Before understanding limitations of monolith architecture, let me spend some time on important terminologies. These terminologies I will use in the explanation of what? How monolith architecture is bad, right? Yes. Build process or building the application. The process of keeping application ready for execution in certain environment is called build process. Is called build process. .java files converted to .class file, property file, other file, libraries. Everything will be packed into jar or var, and this packing is technically called as build na boss. Typing the code is development of code. Running the JUnit test cases is called testing of the code. Then combining all of them into single unit, going for deployment, going for release is called build process or not there. Okay. The code that completes the process is called stable code. What code? No compile time error and very much ready for what? Execution. The code that completes the development process. That completes the development process is called stable code and very much ready for what? Execution. In build process, development of source code, compilation of source code, development of helper resources like what? Property file, other file, adding API libraries and etc. operations will be there. At last, the var file or jar file will be created representing the whole project or not there. Will be created representing the whole project or not there, guys. Super, guys. Okay. Ultimately, what, guys? Taking the developed project, combining everything into single var or jar file, keeping it ready for deployment, keeping it ready for execution, keeping it ready for release is called build process. Array, you don't believe DevOps team is known for build and deployment team. What their work? Did they develop the code? No. Did they test the code? No. But once everything is over, their work is what? Packing the code, keeping the updated code, deploying, releasing, all these things, their work are not there. And in project maintenance, making sure that project is always running smooth, also responsibility of what? Build and deployment team are not there. Okay. MVC layers will be there in all three architecture projects. Monolith. All the layers of all the services or module will be combined together into single unit. So three components will be there in the application: service provider, service consumer, service registry. The MVC layers will be there in service consumer and what? Service provider. Service provider separate project, service consumer separate project. Service provider will have all MVC layers, consumer will have all MVC layers. Service provider PayPal. PayPal will have all MVC layers, Service consumer Flipkart. Flipkart will have all MVC layers, right? Uh, Microservice architecture. Every service is separate project having layers. All these projects will be integrated. So 10 services, 10 projects. Project 1 will have MVC layers. Project 2 will have MVC layers. Project 4 will have MVC layers, right? So MVC layers are common in all three architectures, guys. So far, we have seen MVC layer in monolith style. In future, we are going to see in what? Microservice style. SOA we are learning as a theory, not seriously. SOA is all about SOAP-based web services. Whatever mini projects we developed so far in MVC classes, REST classes, monolith architecture. Based on RESTful web service only, microservice architecture is developed. That is microservice architecture. SOAP-based web services fall under what, guys? SOAP-based web services fall under what, guys? Okay. SOA, SOA architecture. What architecture, guys? SOA. Yeah. What is the difference between application oblique service oblique API? Application oblique service oblique API. Service or Java API. Are you getting my point? API, application programming interface. It is based for programmer to develop certain language or technology or framework application. In Java API, in Java, API comes in the form of packages having classes, interfaces in them. Array, these are what? Library, programming APIs. Indirectly, we are talking about what, guys? These are programming APIs. Whatever I am talking, these are called what? These APIs will be released or available in the form of what? Jar file. Libraries or dependents. These are also called programming APIs. Programming APIs. Three types of APIs, guys. Predefined APIs given by technology or language or framework. User defined API given by developer. Third party APIs given by third party vendor. These are given by what? Third party vendor. Are you getting my point there, guys? Yeah. Application or service is the outcome of what? Build process, either in the form of jar or var file, having certain task to perform. In the development of application or service in certain technology, language or framework, we take the support of APIs or not there. The existing APIs or libraries can be used to create what? New APIs or libraries or projects or services are this one. A simple example, Rababu. JDBC API. Okay. Is used to develop JDBC application. Servlet API is used to develop servlet based web application. Okay. Spring API is used to develop Spring applications. Programming APIs are the base for the developer to develop the application. Sometimes what happens, one API will be used to create other API. Hibernate APIs are used to create what? Spring Data APIs are not there. So using one API, new APIs or libraries can be created or applications can be developed. Using Hibernate API, I can develop Hibernate logic application. Or I can also create another Spring Data API. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Example. We can use Hibernate API directly to develop Hibernate persistence logic or Hibernate application. The Spring creators have used same Hibernate API to develop what? Spring ORM APIs or Spring Data JPA APIs. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Example Java API, Lang API, Utility API, JDBC API, Servlet API, JSP API, and etc. JDBC API is used to develop what? JDBC code or application. Servlet API is used to develop what? Servlet component, web component generating web pages. API can be used to create the application, service, or project, and the same API can be used to develop what? Other APIs. That is what I discussed so far now, guys. Okay. Jar file purpose will change context to context. We can use jar file representing APIs, libraries, servlet-api.jar, rt.jar. They are representing libraries or not there. JDBC, jar file represent JDBC driver software. Oh, JDBC 6.jar, 12.jar. Come on. Jar file represents standalone web application with embedded Tomcat, my dear. Jar file represent EJB component. Jar file represent web application, nothing but var file. Array, var is also jar, but a flavor of jar, right? Jar represents standalone application or project or not there, guys. Jar represents standalone application or what? Project. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Come on, everyone. Okay. The language or technology or framework API are nowhere related to what? RESTful Web Service API. RESTful Web Service API represent distributed application that are developed using RESTful Web Services. There are two things. Programming APIs means regular API. JDBC APIs are Latin. REST API means distributed application. I think I already given this clarity, guys. Lang API programming API, utility API programming, JDBC API programming API, REST API distributed application. See, the language technology programming APIs are given as libraries to develop software application projects or services. RESTful web service are distributed application using which we can go for what? Application to application interaction. The service the service uh, the service provider application can be accessed from different types of local or remote consumer application. REST APIs are nothing but distributed applications are not there. Java APIs are libraries given by Java language technology framework. JDBC API, Servlet API, come on, JND API and etc. These are called programming APIs are not there. These are technically called as what, guys? Programming APIs. Super, guys. RESTful web service APIs are distributed component having business operations as what? Endpoint. Weather component, ICC score component, phone pay component, all these are called REST APIs are not there. And I hope, I think in RESTful web service only I have given clarity on this terminology, right? So full conclusion is what, guys? APIs are two types, programming APIs and okay, REST API. Programming APIs are libraries acting as base to develop certain language or technology or framework application. Next one, REST API are distributed application whose services can be accessed from remote places. Whose services can be accessed from what? Remote places. Yeah, build process means keeping the project ready for execution or deployment or for release. Yes, na boss? Okay, once build is done. So we have to think about deployment or not there. Okay, deployment or installation. The process of keeping web application in the server, either that is running or later started, is called deployment. Okay, this is my web server or application server, guys. So there I kept the var file, nothing but web application. This process is called deployment or not there. This process is called deployment or not there. Then what about removing application from servers or undeployment? Dropping in deployment, taking off undeployment. So then what about cold deployment and hot deployment? If you deploy the application when server is in running mode, if you deploy the application when server is in running mode, that is called what? Hot deployment. Server is hot, running na hot. If you deploy the application when server is in stopped mode, then it is called as what? Cold deployment. Server is in running mode, hot deployment. Server is in stopped mode, cold deployment. Convinced with me, my dear? In the development or testing environment, deployment takes place in local servers or softwares or companies, or software company cloud account. Cloud account means AWS, GCP, Azure, and etc. Or in embedded servers, guys. In the development or testing environment, deployment takes place in local servers or software companies, local server, local Tomcat, or company maintained cloud accounts. Cloud account means what? AWS account also. Or in embedded server. Sometimes they use embedded server. In UAT or production deployment takes place. Client organization maintained server. Client organization purchases their dedicated Tomcat, dedicated Wildfly kind of thing. Or client organization's cloud account. That means AWS, GCP. Simple Rababu. Nowadays, maximum they are not installing software separately, boss. Everything they are trying to collect from what? Cloud. Everything they are trying to collect from what? Cloud. Are you getting my point there, guys? Okay, boss. Yeah, very simple. During development, software company will have a account in AWS. In that one, Tomcat will be there. They try to deploy there. Got it, my dear? Next, during UAT, during what? Production. Client a project related to client, na? Client value have a client fellow will have a account. Client fellow will have a account in the cloud, and there they try to deploy. Is that clear, my dear? Come on, everyone. Super. UAT means user acceptance test. The test that happens at client organization side after the release of the project is called as what? UAT. How build process takes place in real time companies. In real time, how build process takes place. Using Maven Gradle tool in combination with what? Jenkins CI/CD configuration. In combination with Jenkins CI/CD configuration. CI means what? Continuous integration. CD means what? Continuous deployment or delivery. Continuous deployment or delivery. Are you getting my point there or not there? One is CI, continuous integration. Other one is what? CD. In real time, manual deployment is gone, guys. In a serious project, they are taking the support of what? Jenkins. What happened? Whenever you commit the code to Git repository, from there changes will be taken, deployment takes place. From there changes will be taken and deployment takes place. Are you getting my point there, guys? Using Maven Gradle tool in combination with what? Jenkins CI/CD configuration. How do you pack application or service or project into single unit having entire environment? Are only code packing means what? Jarware. Not only code, I want to pack the environment. Environment means the software required to execute the code also I want to pack. For that one, we have got Docker tool. I think those who attended a DevApps with me, they might be aware of DevApps Docker tool, guys. Code plus environment packing will be there in what? Docker. What's the advantage, sir? Suppose I packed only code into jarware. I executed in the current computer, super good executed. I move to other computer. Again, I have to keep the software setup ready, na? You take a small web application which is talking to Oracle database running on Tomcat server, okay, using JDK 17. So in other mission also I have to keep Java 17 ready, Tomcat ready, database ready. Come on. And minimum Eclipse also I have to keep it ready there. Then only code runs there. Suppose if I can pack code and environment, okay, and whenever I move code and environment to other machine, you can directly run because environment is also packed, boss. Because the environment is also packed, right, my dear? Is it not interesting, my dear? Come on, I want reply, guys. How do you pack application or service or project into single unit having entire environment for execution? Only code packing, where are jar file. Environment packing, Docker image, code, where are jar file, server, DB, OS. Using Docker code, we can pack code and environment or not. Using Maven Gradle tool, jar var file will be generated. Whereas using Jenkins tool, jar var file generation and its deployment to server can be automated for every change that is done in source code at or that is done in source code or at regular intervals. This is very important, for every change that is done in source code or at regular intervals. What do you mean by this? Whenever code is changed, guys, new var jar is created and that new var jar is deployed. So how does it recognize changes? Generally, we keep the code in Git repository, na boss. It notices there is a change in Git repository, collects the changes related thing, updates the existing content, prepares the new var file, deploys the new var file. No, you don't want like this. Change done or not done for every 10 minutes, code should be packed and deployment. You can do that. That's up to you how you want. So Maven Gradle just prepares the var file, manual deployment only. But Jenkins keeps track of Git repository. Yes, whether that project is modified or not. Yes, modified. Okay, collect the change, update the existing code, prepare a new var file, start the server, deploy the application. Complete automation now, boss. Your focus is on what? Modifying the code, testing the code. If test results are positive, commit the code to repository. Remaining thing is history. Remaining thing is what? History, right? You just come and fresh the browser, you will see reflected output. No need of you doing manual deployment, manual server start. That's the beauty of Jenkins are not there. At least the people who attended my Jenkins class should keep vibrant face. Okay, guys. Using Docker, our application code becomes more portable to execute in different machines because Docker maintains both what? Application code and what? Environment. Nothing but containerization. What is that? That is technically called as what? Containerization. That is technically, literally called as what? Containerization. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Come on, everyone. Super, guys. Only code packing, var jar file, environment packing, Docker image, code plus environment. Okay. Using Docker, our application code become more portable to execute in different machine because Docker maintains both application code and what? Environment. That is called containerization. See, you decided to move only fishes from one room to another room. Every room, there should be an aquarium now, boss. You decided to move aquarium itself. No need of what? Arranging again aquarium in separate rooms. Okay. So Docker says, I don't pack just code. I also pack a required environment. So you move this to any machine. No need of arranging software separate. Software setup separately. Okay, next one. Service instance or application instance or what? Instance. Service instance or what? Application instance or what? Instance. Shall we start analyzing that, guys? A running application inside the server, giving services to clients. Kishan, it's a part of DevSecOps course, na? When I think if in your program, if DevOps is there, you have that, you will get that course. A running application inside the server giving services to clients, either for end user for other application, is called service instance or application instance. For each copy of application that is deployed in server successfully to render services for client is called as what? Service instance. Are very simple. I prepared one web application, nit.where. Each copy of nit.where is called one instance. 10 copies I have created, 10 instances. 20 copies I have created, 20 instances. Are you getting my point there, guys? A copy of the application, nothing but var or jar file, using which we can give services to clients or other applications, is called instance. Application or project is like a class. Each deployed application or project giving services to client is called instance. For one class, we can create multiple objects. For one application, we can create multiple var files. Each var file is called one instance. And the basic project is called application or project. One class can have multiple instances. Similarly, one application or project can be deployed in what? Multiple servers. That means can have multiple instances or what? Service instances. Can have multiple instances or what? Service instances. Convinced, my dear? Come on, everyone. Okay. Yeah. Each deployed application or project giving services to client like one instance. One class can have multiple instances. Naresh IT web application or project, completed deployment or what? Testing, guys. Completed deployment or what? Testing. Tell me. Client 1, client 2. This is web server or what? Application server. This is called nit.where or not there. Instance one of the application. What is there? Instance Tomcat of machine 1. Tell me. Client sends request 1, gets the response 1. Client sends request 2, gets the response 2. So one copy of nit.w is deployed. That means one instance is ready in almost. We can deploy the multiple instances of service instances of one project in different servers of same machine or different machine. Look at this. Okay. You look at both together, guys. This is first instance of nit.where. This is second instance of nit.where. Come on. So that means same project, two copies. Why, sir? Gmail is a bigger application. One instance is enough for to giving service to entire world. What they do, you know? One copy in Singapore, one copy in Australia, one copy in what? USA, one copy in Dubai. Like this, they will maintain or not? No, all of them will link with the same database. All of them will link with what? Same database. And they follow load balance. They follow load balance mechanism. All, all Indian requests, Asian requests will go to Singapore country server. All Middle East requests will go to Dubai server. Sometimes it is down, one side it is down, one side it is down. So that time other instance comes into picture. Due to this, what happens, guys? No one feels today Gmail is not working. Did you ever heard today Gmail is not working? Did you ever heard today Google is not working? Yeah, one time it happened, today Microsoft Windows is not working. That's a different story, right? Understanding my statement, guys? Why? They keep same project, multiple instances in different location, connecting to same database, connecting to same backend. Why, sir? Or if data is different, it will be problematic now, boss. Only applications are multiple instance, but data is what? Same. Everyone should deal with the same data. Every server, in every server, we can specify maximum number of requests that each service instance can allow at a time. In most of the server, this max request count is what? 200 by default. In Spring Boot MVC Spring REST application, we can change or control this max request count using following properties of the application.property file or YML file. What is that? Server.tomcat.threads.max is equal to 150. Default is 200. Server.jetty.threads.max is equal to 300. Both these properties are related to what? Embedded servers of Spring Boot application. Embedded servers of what? Spring Boot application. No, I don't want to do from embedded servers, guys. I want to do in real external Tomcat server. So there, in Tomcat server, server.xml file is there. There, first executor tag, max thread 150 is there. What is there, guys? Max thread 150 is there. Minimum spare thread. Always keep 4 threads in buffer mode. Always keep 4 threads in what? Unexpected operation. Spare. And we always keep 5,000, 10,000 rupees as a buffer amount na, to face the emergency situation, right? Yeah. Okay. Same thing over there, right? Understanding my statement, guys? Server.tomcat.this. Each instance can take how many requests will be decided over here or not there. Will be definitely decided over here or not there, guys. Yeah, next one. Load count or what? Current load. Load count or current load. The number of requests that currently under processing by the service instance is called what? Load count or current load. If the application one instance our service instance currently processing what? 10 requests. Then the load count or current load is how much, guys? 10. Then the load count or current load is how much, guys? 10. Are you getting my point, my dear? Come on, everyone. Super. Are nothing. Currently application taking 20 requests. What is the current load? 20. Right now my application instance is taking 30 requests. What is the current load, guys? 30. What is the next one, guys? Load factor. It is current load by max load. Current load by max load. Load factor is equal to current load by max load. Maximum it can take 200 requests. Currently 220 requests are there. What is there, guys? 20 by 200. How much, guys? 0.2. Array. If it is towards 0, less load factor. Less load factor. If it is towards 1, it is always 0 to 1 only. It is always 0 to 1. Because max to max 200 by 200. 200 by 200 means 1. Anything below, it is 0 point something, right? If it is towards the 0 side, less load is there. If it is towards what? 1 side, more load is there. That is how load factor is evaluated or not there. If application instance If application instance with respect to server max load is 150 and that application instance is currently processing what 100 requests, then 100 by 150 is the load factor. What is there? 0.666. What is there, guys? 0.666. Load factor is always what, guys? Load factor is always, come on, tell me, what is load factor is always, guys? I want reply, my dear. Greater than or equal to 0 to less than or equal to 1. It is always between 0 to 1 or not there. It is always between 0 to 1 or not there, guys. Come on, everyone. Max load is equal to max request that server can take for each instance of application at a time. We can specify this using what? Server settings, or using what? Application dot properties, while working with what? Embedded servers of Spring Boot. While working with what, guys? Embedded servers of Spring Boot. Convinced with me, my dear? Come on, everyone. Max load is equal to max request that server can take for each instance of application at a time. We can specify this using what? Server settings, or using application dot properties, while working with what? Embedded servers of Spring Boot application. What application, guys? Uh, Array, this one, Ra Babu. Where you can mention? Like this, we can mention max request count, na boss. Currently 20 requests. Max request is what? 200. 20 by 200. 0.2. That means less load factor. Current request is what? 150. 150 by 200. Somewhere 0.75 something you will get. That is what? More request. Towards 1 means load factor is. Yeah. Then what is there? Scaling, boss. Scaling means improving the things. I can do 10 works, but I am trying to make myself doing 15 works. Scaling. Yes, my dear. One restaurant is serving 100 people at a time. I improved the capacity to 120 people, scaling. 150 people, more scaling. 200 people, more scale. My server can take 100 requests at a time. I increase it to 200. My application can take 100 requests at a time, but I increase it to 200. Scaling now, boss. Increasing the service capacity of the application or service or project is called scaling. If the application is having facility to increase its service capacity as needed, then it is called what? Scalable application. Scalability feature are not there. What feature, guys? Scalability feature are not there. If application is having facility to increase its what? Service capacity as needed, then it is called as what? Scalable application. Example 1. Increasing the shop capacity from 100 square feet to 1000 square feet. 1000 square feet to 10,000 square feet. What is there? Scaling. But this is called vertical scaling, guys. Why? In the same place, we are increasing the capacity. Keeping same shop of 1000 square feet in 10 different places. Horizontal scaling. Come on, guys. Paradise Hotel, initially it was a small thing. After few years, they dismantled that building and constructed what? 5-store building, increasing the dining capacity from 100 members to 500 members. That they have done horizontal scaling or vertical scaling. Vertical scaling. But later, Hyderabad city started expanding, right? All people cannot go to single place to eat biryani, though it is popular because of traffic issues and other issues, right? So what they have done, they started keeping branches in different parts of the city. One is in Begumpet, one is in what? High Tech City, one is in Dilshuk Nagar. In different, wherever crowd is there, they kept it. That is called as what? Horizontal scale. KFC business is vertical scaling or horizontal scaling? Horizontal. Because KFC started in US. Everyone cannot go to US to eat KFC chicken, right? So what they have done? They started bringing same quality, same uniformness in other countries and other states. Okay. Increasing number of ATM machines in different location, horizontal scaling. Increasing more number of ATMs in a single room or location, vertical scaling. So total how many types of scaling is there? Two. Horizontal scaling and what? Vertical scaling. How many types of scaling is there, guys? Horizontal scaling and what? Verticals. Vertical scaling is not recommended. Horizontal scaling, check it out. In horizontal scaling, we take multiple copies of same application. That means multiple service instances to give services to client. And we control these multiple instances with the support of what? Load balancer service. What service, guys? With the support of what? Load balancer service. Are you getting my point there or not there? Web server or application server. NIT.where, NIT.where, NIT.where. So total how many wheres are there? Three wheres are. Maybe they're in same server, maybe they're in different servers, right? Okay. Through load balancer server, we take the request, we check which instance is having less load factor. That instance will take the request or not there. Check it out. Let us assume 80 by 150, 90 by 150, 100 by 150. Total two requests are coming. Guess it. The request will go to which instance? First, second, third. Arey, why are you taking this much time, Ra? Come on. Three instances and their load factor is given, right? 1122 is instance ID, 1133 is instance ID, 1144 is instance ID. Total how many instances are there? Three instances are there, right? And these three instances are linked with what? Three instances are linked with three instance ID. In load balance server, for every instance ID, load factor is already there. Okay, which instance is having less load factor? First one is having less load factor, right? First one is having less load factor or not there, guys? First one is having less load factor or not there, guys? Come on, everyone. Okay. So that's why both the request will go to first instance only, na? Both the request will go to first instance only, na? What do you say, guys? Yes or no, na, boss? Most of the times, we keep multiple service instance of one application in multiple different copies of what? Same server software running on what? Different machines. These instances can be there either in same server or different domains, or different copies of same server or different server residing in same machine or what? Different machines. These instances need not to be there in same server, can be there in different servers running on different machines or same machine. The given request goes to the instance or service instance of application whose less load, whose load factor is less, whose value is nearer to zero. In our example, both request one, request to go to what? Instance one, because it is having less load factor, 80 by 150. If all instances are having same load factor, then LBS will pick up what? Instance randomly. LBS is nothing but what? Load balancer server are not there. So final conclusion, horizontal scaling, 20 instances are there. Every instance is maintaining load factor. All that information is there in load balancer server, right? All that information is there in what? Load balancer server are not there. I have given multiple requests. Who takes a request? Load balancer server takes a request, right? Who takes the request, guys? Load balancer server takes the request. Yes or no, na, my dear? Come on. Okay, they will check who is having less load factor. To that one, the request will be sent or not there. Okay. Keeping Gmail application in different zones of world map falls under horizontal scrolling. One instance in Singapore, one instance in Dubai, one instance in Sydney, and etc. Like this, we are taking care of the things are not there, guys. Examples of different load balancer server: HA proxy, engines, mode antenna, varnish, balance, LVS. All these are load balancer servers are not there. Either DevOps team or infrastructure team, like Linux admin, etc., will take care of this kind of load balancer servers are not there. You and me are least bothered, guys. DevOps team is responsible for load balancing. Okay, next one is what, guys? Vertical scaling. What is next one? Vertical. Vertical scaling is too boring, guys. Same application. We are trying to increase that server capacity, that computer memory capacity, CPU capacity, hard disk capacity. That is called vertical scaling. No, there is an endpoint for this. Why? You cannot use RAM which is not there in the market. You cannot use the hard disk which is not there in the market. You cannot use the CPU processing capacity which is not created in the market, right? So there will be one or other limitation or not there. There will be one or other limitation or not, my dear. In horizontal scaling, there will be one or other limitation. What do you say, guys? Here we add more software and hardware infrastructure for the existing application environment to make it ready for taking what? More requests for more clients. Yeah, listen, guys. Tomorrow's session is there, but I would like to start sharp by 9 and I want to wind up by sharp by 10:20, 10:25. I have some work. So only tomorrow I don't start by 9:10. I'll start by 9. So try to come as early as possible. Okay, after that, and Saturday, Sunday, microservice class is not there because for existing people, RESTful web service, some pending is there. Okay, so I will complete them. The Saturday, Sunday, common topics also not there. Okay, the Saturday, Sunday, even common topics also not there. So the plan is tomorrow you have microservice class. After that, next class is on what? Monday. Monday onwards, regularly things will be there. The Saturday, Sunday, common topics also not there, guys. Okay. Right. Okay. Next, directly we meet on what? Monday. Is that clear, guys? Come on, everyone. But tomorrow we have microservice class and I want to start exactly by 9 o'clock. Okay. DevOps batch, raise the request to the admin. I think one slot is free. They may consider. Okay. Now, what is the existing setup, guys? 16 GB RAM, 1 terabyte hard disk, dual core CPU, Tomcat MySQL. New setup, 32 GB RAM, 10 terabyte hard disk, quadra core CPU. Dual means 2, quadra means 4. Next one, Wildfly server Oracle DB. This is horizontal scaling or vertical scaling. Yeah, moving to new setup from existing setup is called as what? Vertical scaling. In cloud environment like AWS, max 720 GB RAM is possible. That much processing. And unlimited hard disk is possible. That's why nowadays no one is using this physical setup, guys. Everyone is trying to prefer what? Cloud set. Everyone is preferring what? Cloud setup. Okay. Next. Pros and cons of monolith architecture based application development. We are coming to the actual discussion. Generally, everyone start directly with the drawbacks, but now I prepared some background. I prepared somewhat background. Following based on background, we are going to discuss the remaining thing. Are you ready to see? Pros means advantages. Cons means disadvantages. Yes or no? Na? You know, pros means advantages. Cons means disadvantages. Right, my dear? Yeah. Pros and cons of monolith architecture based application development. Pros means advantages. Provides a simple and easy environment to develop what? Projects or application as a layered application, having layers like presentation layer, controller layer, service layer, persistence layer, DOA layer, and integration layer. Simple. MEC boss. Regular. When I say monolith, you simply think about mini projects by developed software. MVC mini project, REST mini project. You just keep them in mind. Most of the current maintenance projects are what? Monolith project. New projects, microservice architecture, but current existing projects are what? Monolith. Easy to deploy. Altogether single var jar file. Easy to manage. Easy to scale. Easy to deploy. Everything is single. Maybe 100 modules, guys. Single project, single jar. You copy jar, deployed over. Easy to maintain, single copy, na? Easy to scale. Why? Easy to scale. Suppose horizontal scaling I want. Take 100 copies over, na? You think about a microservice? In one project, multiple projects will be there. Multiple vars will be there. Scaling is bit difficult, right? Okay. Performing unit testing is very easy because all the layers and all the services are available together. What is unit testing, boss? Any testing, in fact, comparing expected results with actual results. Comparing what? Expected results with what? Actual result. Are you getting my point there, guys? Easy to manage, easy to scale. Increasing or decreasing what? Instances. Performing unit testing is very easy because all layers and all services are available together. All layers and all services are available together. Less possibility of getting network related issue because all services are layers mostly are together. All are there together in single location now, boss. Because they are not in different project, they are there in the same project, right? Performing logging and debugging operations are varying because all are intact. Logging and debugging activities are quite easy to perform or not there. Once again, look at the pros. Think about mini project of MVC in mind. Okay. It's all about developing different logics in different layer and integrating them. Mini project, guys. Deployment is a single var deployment. Scaling is easy. You want horizontal scaling. Take 10 copies of var file and done, my dear. Next one. Testing is easy because all are together. Logging and auditing is easy because all are together. Debugging is easy because all are together, right? And no question of getting network issues because among the layer there is no network at all. Because all layers are in single place, na boss. These are the advantages. But we are not here to appreciate monolith architecture. We want to learn microservice means we should scold monolith architecture or not there. Aisa no na, guys. You want to leave existing company, join in new company. You will still appreciate existing company. You will try to find one or other reason. Though reason is not there, you will try to find one or other reason. Yes or no, na boss? You have to convince yourself now why you are leaving that company. Less work also sometime reason. I am not learning anything nowadays here. Yes, na boss. Otherwise, our team members are too friendly. Arey, your friendly environment has come. Professionalism is not there. You will leave the company. If you want to tell excuse, you can tell any excuse. Yes, my dear. Come on. In relationship also same thing, na. When they want to exit, all of a sudden good things looks like a bad thing. Bad things looks like a great things, right? Same thing. These are good, but we are not here to appreciate monolithic architecture. We are here to understand problems with monolith architecture. Let's see one by one, guys. Actually, they are not, guys. Many other are there. For small and tiny changes in one or two services or modules layer, we need to redeploy the whole application by alerting the end user when application is in production. Are all are intact now? Some problem has come in service layer. You have to disturb whole project now, boss. Some problem has come in one module, registration module, but you have to disturb whole project or not there. And that too by alerting user. This time to this time, downtime. Don't get into application utilization. Like this, you have to alert the people are not there. Array, when you are using banking application, you will get a message na midnight, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Is application will be down. Please cooperate. Sorry for regretting. This time server will not work. Come on. Why? Because they are all the banking applications are quite old application. They already used monolith architecture, right? They already used what? Monolith architecture. So when they have used monolith architecture, they don't have option. They really don't have what? Option. They need to, what guys? They don't have option. They need to down the whole project. Or in Singapore kind of countries, they keep one time frame, guys. In a year, overall downtime should not exceed more than 1 hour. Then what is the problem? In back to back some problems have come. Every time for upgrading project they have done downtime. Reaching 1 hour, one hour in whole year is very easy, na? And they need to pay huge penalty to the government, huge penalty to the government. And HDFC has got that problem recently. HDFC stopped issuing credit card for 1.5 year because their server downtime is going down back to back. RBI said that for next 1.5 year, don't give credit cards. They lost the business at that time, right? That kind of strict policies will be there on server downtime, guys. You are offering one service, but server is not ready. It's meaningless. You are suffering the customers or not. So that's the biggest problem, biggest challenge. For small and tiny changes, you have to down the whole project, and that will cost a lot because we don't know when business will happen. Especially e-commerce business, it's a emotion-based business, right? Somewhere advertisement came that linked to Amazon, and we purchased. At that time, we gone for payment, and server is not working. Then what you will think? There's no guarantee that mood will come again. That emotion will come again, right? That too, these Amazon people, other people, they create an environment to make you to purchase the product what you like, right? How? You opened XYZ website, their advertisement. Huh? You open another thing, advertisement. Even reels also they give according to the product that you like, right? Somewhere mood will create. Yes, let's purchase. Let's purchase. You gone for purchase, selected, added to con, gone for payment. Bank has given hand. Who is the loser? Not the you. Amazon is the loser. Because he lost one emotional customer, right? Convinced or not, my idea. One bug or issue in one module or service or project may affect other service or module. This indicates these applications are not reliable. Sometime application will shut down, providing no services to client or not. Because all are together, guys. One module is not working means to repair that, or that may affect other modules also, boss. That may really affect what? Other module. Okay, these are not end, guys. To be continued. These are not two drawbacks. Beautiful drawbacks I prepared. You will get a reason why we should prefer, why we should not prefer what? Monolith architecture. Why we should prefer only other architecture. So tomorrow we are going to enter into microservice architecture, its advantages. Then overall overview diagram of microservice architecture we see. Don't miss tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class is going to be very, very crucial. I hope you are liking the way I'm presenting from the scratch. I'm not hurry at all. Generally, I can directly launch. These are the advantages of microservice architecture. Get into the project development. But I'm not worried about it because concept is very, very important, right? You have to find what is the problem with what? Existing architectures that are monolith and what? SOA, that is called SOA, service oriented architecture. Okay, guys, that's good. Now, let me upload it, guys.